Hello, hello, hello. What's up, boys and girls? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of Just My Opinion, man. Today we're going to talk about Chelsea, my beloved Chelsea. And Chelsea have been doing well this season so far. So, since we did the last video about Frank Lampard and Chelsea, Chelsea have been on quite a run. We've been unbeaten since then and kept a lot of clean sheets. So, things have been going well. And I think Mr. Jurgen Klopp must have watched that video because Jurgen Klopp thinks Chelsea are title favourites now. Well, I don't know if Klopp, if they're mind games, he said that Chelsea are title favourites. So I don't know if they're mind games or if it's an honest assessment from Klopp. But I just have this to say to Mr. Klopp.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
But either way, जो भी है, I think Klopp is right in that Chelsea are on to something. Things are looking bright for them. And Chelsea have made significant improvements from last season, at least the current run that they've been on. And a lot of it is owing to the new transfers. We've brought in significant players. Actually, you know what? Talking about Chelsea, I can't pretend to be a neutral. I mean, they're my team. So this is better. This is more like it. So we were talking about Chelsea's upturn in form, and obviously there are a lot of reasons behind that. Of course, this is Lampard's second season with the squad, and a good manager typically brings more out of their team in their second season as the squad continues to mature and improve. Lampard is also progressing in his career as a manager, and there are a bunch of reasons. But of course, a big part of the reason is also Chelsea's transfer business. We obviously know that Chelsea spent a small country's GDP in their transfer market this season. They added a lot of new players and a lot of quality to the squad, and that's a big part of the reason why Chelsea are doing well. And when the transfer window was ongoing, when the transfer market was still open in August and September, and Chelsea was signing all these new players, a lot of my friends were saying to me that Chelsea are, of course, title favourites this season and title contenders and all of that. And that kind of talk I feel is premature because you can't expect instant results and instant gratification from anything in life or in football, because that's a little foolish, right? कुछ भी चीज़ को successful होने के लिए थोड़ा time लगता है. And the same funda applies to Chelsea FC. But at this point today, I believe that we're 3 months into the new season. Chelsea have played 11 Premier League games and almost entirely through the Champions League group stage, which we are topping also. So I feel this is a good point, and I have seen enough of the new players and the squad to kind of speak. This is not like a judgment on any of the players, but I feel this is a good junction to, this is a good place to assess some of the new players. And of course, we'll begin then with the goalkeeper, Chelsea's new goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy, who looks like an absolute bargain. But before I even get to his goalkeeping prowess, I would like to talk about his inspirational story, man. Because 6 years ago, Edouard Mendy was a 22-year-old unemployed youth who was queuing up in the job center just looking for direction in his life. And in 6 years' time, he is the number one goalkeeper at Chelsea FC, Jurgen Klopp's title favourites. So what a transformation that is, and what an inspirational story that is. But just as a goalkeeper, so I have to be honest, I didn't know much about Edouard Mendy when we signed him. I thought Edouard Mendy was the kind of a signing who was a stopgap, because when Chelsea was obviously looking for an alternative for Kepa Arrizabalaga, we were looking at names like Jan Oblak, but he had a very expensive release clause at Atletico. And we were looking at lots of goalkeepers, Andre Onana at Ajax, stuff like that. But when we couldn't get deals through for anyone, it sort of at one point looked like Kepa was going to be the option this season, which was a terrifying prospect because he has had a bad run of form. So Edouard Mendy, when Chelsea signed him for £22 million, I thought was a stopgap signing and someone we can place, who can be a placeholder for a year until we go out and look again in the transfer market. But that was just my ignorance, because obviously Petr Cech, our goalkeeping coach, had a look at him, our technical advisor. And if anyone knows about a goalkeeper, it's Petr Cech. So 6'6" Edouard Mendy made the move from Rennes to Chelsea, and he has been such a difference. Because clean sheets and all though he has kept, but just the kind of impact he has had on the back line. Like, you need someone who is an influential personality, someone who has, that sort of a presence, because that's what you need from a goalkeeper. You need that sort of madness and someone who exudes that sense of calm and control in the box. Someone who can come and claim crosses, someone who is his positioning is so good. Like, he's a great shot stopper, but that's because not just because of his reflexes, but his positioning is so good. And of course, he's a good goalkeeper, but the biggest bonus he has given for me for Chelsea, and as a Chelsea fan for me, is that he gives me a sense of comfort. That even because with Kepa, we never had that. Any shot on goal from any range, always it looked, the scorer looked to be the favourite to score a goal. But with Edouard Mendy, he's given us that sense of safety and comfort, which, I mean, thank you, Edouard Mendy, and thank you, Big Peter Cech, for bringing him into the club. And of course, after Mendy, we have to talk about the next stalwart in defence, Thiago Silva, an absolute Rolls Royce of a player who had that unfortunate mistake in his first game for Chelsea at West Brom. But he has also been such a big differential for Chelsea, because 36-year-old Thiago Silva, who has had a glorious career, now comes to Chelsea. And you would think at 36-year-old Silva, in the twilight of his career, how much will he even be able to do for Chelsea? Well, he's made such a difference. The video I made about Chelsea, and I pointed that Chelsea has been conceding lots of silly goals from crosses and set plays. Well, the biggest difference Thiago Silva has made is in that sense, because obviously, you think of defending crosses, you have to be correctly positioned. Your body position has to be in the right way to ki koi ball andar aa rahi hai, you have to head it away. All of those are very elementary defending abilities that a defender should have. But well, of course, our defenders last season, Christensen, Rudiger, Zuma has that, but he doesn't have the right positional awareness. Sometimes, even right now, sometimes Thiago Silva has to keep him in check. And of course, Tomori and these guys, we lacked that last season. You need that sort of leadership. What do you need when a cross is coming into your box? You need the kind of personality who says in his mind, this ball is coming in, I'm going to be the first to it, and I'm going to clear it out of here. I'm going to clear the danger. That's the kind of personality you need. So of course you need basic defending skills to be able to do that, but you need एक जो कहते हैं ना बंदे में जुनून, ये बॉल आ रही है, ये मेरी बॉल है. That's what you need, and that's what Thiago Silva provides. And not just that, he makes the defenders around him play better. Like, what did Van Dijk do when he came to Liverpool? Obviously, he is a world-class defender. For me, quite easily the best centre-back in the world. But a good player, not only is a good player themselves, a good player improves players around them, which Thiago Silva is doing. And that is just, that's just an intangible quality which is so important and so lovely to have at Chelsea, man. Like, I can't tell you how lovely it is to finally, in Lampard's second season now, 3 months in his second season, finally to be able to say Chelsea now has a first choice centre-back pairing in Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma. We of course also added to our squad this season a new left-back in Ben Chilwell for £50 million. And Ben Chilwell for me already is the second best left-back in the league after Andy Robertson at Liverpool. What a signing Ben Chilwell, Chilly B, has been for Chelsea. So for me, the way to look at a player, like I could of course, post a lot of stats and stuff here in what Chilwell has been doing, in the kind of recovery runs he's been making and the kind of overlaps he's providing on the left flank. I could provide you with a lot of stats. He also has a very high XG rating for a defender, but I'm not really one to buy into stats that much. Like, I watch all games, and for me, like, the eye test is key. I don't like to look at numbers to tell me what I'm watching. So stats are really not my thing. But Ben Chilwell has, added so much vigor to Chelsea's left-back spot, because obviously for the past couple of seasons, Chelsea have been really lacking in that position. At times we've played Azpilicueta there. We've even tried with Marcus Alonso and Emerson Palmieri, and those situations haven't really worked out for Chelsea. Marcus Alonso can't play in a back four, as great a wing back as he is. But Alonso can't fit in if the formation we're looking to play is a 4-3-3, which I feel is obviously Chelsea's best formation. Alonso is a great alternative to have as a left wing back. But Ben Chilwell, man, I mean, what a modern fullback has to do. Of course, a fullback has to be good at 1v1 defending, preventing crosses, and at providing crosses in the attacking third. But what a modern fullback is you have to do both ends of the game. Like, it's no surprise that teams have really started using fullbacks as an attacking outlet, because the more and more you have, these inside forwards and forwards who tend not to hold the width but come inside, the more and more fullbacks come into play in an attacking sense. It's no surprise that at all the top teams in the world, fullbacks are expected to contribute a lot in terms of assists, if not goals. And Ben Chilwell has been doing that. Like, he's also taking the odd set piece in terms of corners and indirect free kicks. But just in terms of open play, like, एक मॉडर्न फुलबैक से तुम्हें क्या चाहिए? मुझे तो चाहिए someone with great max lung capacity, someone with the ability to run up and down their flank for 90 minutes, and that's what Ben Chilwell provides, man. And not just that, he has the quality to go with it. Like, he's a very, very competent defender. I think Chelsea have finally found their solution in terms of the ideal left back for them. He's very young, I think still 23 years old. Someone who can give great service to Chelsea for at least 4-5 good years if he doesn't move by then. But what a great find Chilwell has been. And he adds a lot of, like, you watch some of the Chelsea matches, and when Chelsea is playing down the right flank, Chilwell is right up very close to the 6-yard box, looking to get the tap in, and he's looking to score goals. And when Chelsea is overloading on the left flank with Timo Werner, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi when he comes on, Mason Mount has a left-leaning bias. And so Chilwell is very good at, dovetailing with players who are playing on the left flank. His interplay is very good. His overlapping runs are excellent. And Chilwell, man, another player whom I just love playing for Chelsea. Just what a great time this is to be a Chelsea fan, man. And that brings us to now the forwards, the guys whom we've paid the big bucks for. And obviously Chelsea has signed a lot of them. तो किसके बारे में पहले बात करें? Timo Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, whom should we talk about first? Well, I am going to talk about the one signing that I was most excited about, which we of course completed in just after January itself. So we didn't keep that waiting too long. But Hakim Ziyech, man, Hakim the dream, the half space prince. Hakim Ziyech is the one I've been most excited about, because he brings some qualities that are just, unusual to not just the Chelsea squad, but in the modern game itself. Like, Ziyech is such an enjoyable player to watch. He's a left-footed right winger who can play as a 10, but his best position is between the right wing, and he likes to come inside and get his crosses in from there to the far post. He's also a very, very capable shooter with his left foot, so he likes to come inside and cut in and take shots on goal. As an Ajax player playing against Chelsea, some of his qualities were so devastating against us in the Champions League last season. But Ziyech is so enjoyable to watch. Another player whom you can post stats about, but stats don't do justice to the kind of quality and enjoyability. Is that a word? If it's not a word, it at least has to be a factor in me liking a player, because Ziyech is enjoyable to watch. Like, Chelsea have a lot of direct, fast, pacey players who like to do take-ons and stuff. But Ziyech is different. Ziyech is not that kind of a player. Ziyech is someone who likes players to make runs beyond him so he can spot them and he can find them. And what I love most about Ziyech is Ziyech doesn't look, because you have a lot of wingers in the modern game who look like factory products, who have grown up in football, are trying to do the same thing. Like, who you can see have been coached into becoming players. So a lot of their game is based on efficiency, percentage plays. In any correct situation, what is the highest percentage play in what is the closest thing that you can do that will result in a goal. That sort of feels like मेरे को कोई कंप्यूटर को खेलते हुए नहीं देखना है, मेरे को Ziyech जैसे player को देखना है. Because Ziyech, although he doesn't always make the right decisions, his passing efficiency may not be the best, which perhaps will reflect in his passing accuracy rate or his pass completion rate. But what Ziyech is always looking to do is he's always looking to be direct and provide a threat on goal. Like, even when sometimes the pass behind the back line isn't on, Ziyech tries it, because he's the kind of player who, when he has the ball, he is the kind of personality, like, give me the ball, I'll try to make things happen. And that is what his quality is. And he does make things happen. Clearly, because these are some of the things that he's been doing at Chelsea. Absolute baller of a player. And Ziyech is also, I mean, I am a very low-key, watch. I'm passionate about watches. Well, that's what I have in common with Hakim Ziyech, because he seems to be too. He sports a lot of your Rolexes and Patek Philippe's. So I mean, just has a taste for finer things in life, and his play reflects that. Which brings us now to our two newest German recruits, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, the guys we paid the biggest bucks for, especially Kai Havertz. But let's talk about Timo Werner first, because when he signed for Chelsea, like that, just put Chelsea fans over the top. Because amongst all our new signings, everyone agreed, analysts, fans, pundits, even opposition fans and neutrals, everyone agreed that Timo Werner was the closest to a world-class player in all of Chelsea's new signings. It reflected in everyone's FPL teams beginning the season, because everyone had Timo Werner. He was the highest owned player, I think, along with Trent Alexander-Arnold for game week 1. Everyone had Timo. And 3 months into the new season, well, Timo Werner has had a good start but a shaky, he can do better kind of start, because of obviously at Leipzig and for Germany, his goals record is insane. Quite good for someone his age and for someone his profile, because he doesn't, lead the line always. For Germany, he does, but not always. For Leipzig, he used to play in a 2. And for Chelsea, we've seen him play as the number 9. We've seen him play wide right. We've seen him play out left. So he's not, leading the line, but he's always amongst the chances and amongst the goals too, if not scoring them, but creating them for others. And Timo Werner is a great profile of a player, but just in terms of his finishing ability, what I've felt about Timo Werner for a while, and definitely since I've been watching him for Chelsea, is that he can be more clinical as a striker. I really feel that. Like, it's not that he's not clinical, like he can be the kind of striker who gets one chance in a game and scores one goal. He can do that, but he doesn't do that consistently enough. Like, what I've noticed in him is that he needs a few chances to get a goal. And like all strikers, like, if you have confidence, if you feel like, you're on a scoring run, you feel like you're going to score every game. And that turns out to be the case. Like, confidence is just such a factor. And when you're lacking it, when you're missing a few easy chances, when you're short on confidence, it can feel like it's just not your day sometimes. And with Timo, he's missed a few very easy chances in games, lots of half chances too. Like, just beginning from the first game he played against Brighton, man, I saw Timo Werner and I was so happy, because sharp, that's the word I would use to describe him. He's so razor sharp with his movement, with the ball, off the ball, electric pace. But as a Chelsea fan, like, we've always kind of had we've mostly had bad luck with strikers than good luck. Because your Diego Costa, Nicolas Anelka and Didier Drogba are in the minority. Like, mostly they turned out to be Fernando Torres, Matea Kezman, Alvaro Morata, Andrei Shevchenko. The number of strikers who've not done well for Chelsea are just too many. And Timo Werner I was tentative about. But looking at him, although he can be getting more goals, what I feel about him right now is that his time will come, because he's doing all the right things. He's getting in the right positions, and even if he's missing chances, at least he's on the end of chances. So you have to be doing something right as a striker to at least be on the end of chances. I definitely, you can obviously, it's more meme content, and if you're missing open goals, like the chance that he missed against Leeds, he missed a tap-in against Krasnodar, also missed a chance last week, whom were we playing, I think Spurs or someone. So yeah, he's had those misses. But for me, I think it's a good sign for me that at least he's getting chances. That's always better than for a striker than being invisible in a game. So his time will definitely come. If the Golden Boot doesn't this season, that's fine. I just really care about Timo doing well for the team. And his role also is, I'm really curious about this season, because obviously Giroud is now in good form. Tammy Abraham has not been doing too badly, so they look like they're going to play centrally. And Timo is doing well off the left and right. So let's see how it works, But in an ideal world for me, I would like Ziyech playing right, Pulisic playing left, and Timo Werner up front, and see how that works. But let's see about Timo Werner. And which brings us to the last, and if not the highest profile signing, but at least the signing that Chelsea paid the most for, in Kai Havertz. Now, Kai Havertz is 21 years old. He hasn't had the kind of, he hasn't lit the pitch on fire in any game for Chelsea, although he did score a hat-trick against Barnsley in the League Cup. But that's not scoring a hat-trick against Barnsley. That's not what we paid 80 odd million pounds for. Chelsea paid for the promise that Kai Havertz has to offer. Like any player who Real Madrid and Liverpool and the biggest clubs in the world are interested in, you know that they are the real deal, at least in terms of talent. Now Chelsea, I don't think I'm just going out on a limb here and saying I haven't read too much to this end, but this is just my feeling that that Kai Havertz wasn't a fulcrum of Chelsea's transfer plans this season. I think the only reason that Kai Havertz, we really went after him and paid the asking price, a very high asking price for him, was because of the COVID transfer market. Like lots of clubs didn't have the funds available to go out and so what Leverkusen wanted was they didn't want his transfer fee to be paid in installments. They wanted money upfront for Kai Havertz, which only Chelsea had the financial capability to do that this season. Lots of clubs have had their purses tightened because of the market in the COVID situation and lots of those reasons. But Chelsea had the freedom to do that, and Chelsea thought like this is the opportunity to be ruthless and go out and get the player you want. और हम सबको पता है कि Roman Abramovich is always interested by promising young players who have hype about them. And as a Chelsea fan, I love to see it. Like it's been so long since we flexed our financial muscle, man. Like not since. I think the last time we did that, honestly, was when we went out and got Hazard. But we haven't done that in many seasons. Like the Manchester Cities of the world have outspent us quite frequently. So it felt like, an OG Chelsea throwback in going out and getting Havertz. But let's speak about Havertz as a player. So Havertz was the fulcrum of the Bayer Leverkusen side. He played everywhere for them. He played as a false 9, he played as an 8. Even at times he came so deep to pick up the ball that he'll almost look like a number 6. He played wide right. He's played every position for them. But that was because he was quite easily Bayer Leverkusen's best player. At Leverkusen, Havertz was in his comfort zone. He was in his childhood club. He was around people who he has known all his life. So he was in his comfort zone and he was doing really well for them. Got lots of goals and assists and made his way into the Germany national side too. This transfer at Chelsea I wouldn't say it's come too early for him, but what I would definitely say is that give him more time to settle. Because there's a lot of things that a lot of reasons I can offer, not excuses but reasons I can offer why Havertz hasn't hit the ground running. First things first, he's 21 years old. He's moving to a new country. He had really bad COVID symptoms. He just caught the COVID virus a few weeks ago. He had really bad symptoms. So he's coming back as a player. He has to get all of his fitness back. And there are all those reasons, and I completely buy into those reasons. What I personally would like more from Havertz is what I spoke about, what I like about Ziyech. Like from Havertz, when Chelsea is deadlocked into some situations, when teams are playing low blocks against us, I would like Havertz to be the kind of personality, the kind of guy who says, give me the ball, I'm talented enough, I'll make some magic happen. That's what I want more from Havertz, and that has to reflect in his body language and his demeanor. I can tell from his body language already, and some interviews that I've seen him in, that he looks like a shy kind of character, a reserved kind of boy, and those are the reasons why I keep saying give Havertz a little more time to settle, and we'll see the best of him in times to come. At least I hope so. But like I said, I want to see a bit more vigor from Havertz. So yeah, that was pretty much like all about Chelsea's new signings. Obviously, some Chelsea players who've been with us since last season have been doing well this season too. None more so than Mason Tony Mount. Mason Mount is my favorite player, man. Like, I mean, what a joy to watch, because when all of these new signings were coming in, people were, I think, mocking Chelsea a little bit also, because we had to play academy players by way of, we were forced to last season, and everyone was like, now that the transfer ban has been lifted, Chelsea is back to their old ways of bringing players in, and the academy players are now going to be thrown out of the side. That's not true at all. Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, all are examples of that. But Mason Mount has been my favorite to watch, man, because what a lovely player, a live wire, a great pressing agent. Like he offers Lampard. There's a reason why Lampard, Lampard's favorite son. He plays almost every game because even when he doesn't bring all the threat on the ball, he's a great pressing agent, great at winning balls back. Just watch the game against Leeds. Like Chelsea became the only team this season to outrun Leeds in a game. We did it by 6 kilometers, ran 6 kilometers more than Leeds in a game. No one else has done that. Mason Mount, great player. Reece James, great to watch. I mean, it really takes some kind of special ability and promise to keep Cesar Azpilicueta, the club captain, out of the side. But Reece James, man, so strong. And also the kind of fullback, the modern fullback Lampard wants, because he's got a very quality cross on him, a quality delivery on him. He whips it quite a lot like Trent Alexander-Arnold. A great fullback, a great defensively too, very strong. Like hardly anyone can run past him. He may not be the quickest, but he's so sturdy and so robust that he doesn't get beat by anyone quite often. And I loved watching him the most stand up to Sadio Mane this season. So he's great. Tammy Abraham, I feel, you know, he's been doing well. His link-up play has improved this season, but I feel he can do more because he has such a tall frame. He has all I feel he has all the necessary tools to be a really good striker. But I think, yeah, Giroud is there to be the perfect guy to learn from. And I think Tammy Abraham has to put some more muscle on for me because he gets, you know, he gets bullied still and he doesn't really put himself out there. So, you know, to impact big games, I think thoda aur muscular hona padega Tammy. And but all things all, what a great time this is to be a Chelsea fan and so much fun, man. Like I don't know what we'll win or not win this season. But if we just keep playing like this, I think the signs of progress are there. The signs of progress, that's one term I keep saying. Because over time, you have to keep showing that you're improving. Of course, we didn't talk about Chris Pulisic at all in this video, but because he's been very injury plagued of late. So injury concerns hain bahut sare. If Pulisic comes back, if we have our full strength squad, like why can't we win the Premier League, man? Anything's happening this season. Liverpool has been compromised by a lot of injuries. Spurs look like real challengers. City का भी scene पता नहीं है क्या चल रहा है. So why can't we win the title this season, man? Like why can't we dream? Frank Lampard, make us dream, bro. And thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you watched, consider sharing this. Consider क्या यार, मतलब share करो ना यार. अगर सारे videos देख रहे हो ना, by this point I feel we have enough of a regular following. So if you're watching these videos, please share these with your friends. और बढ़ाओ यार, बढ़ाओ, थोड़े व्यूज़ और सब्सक्राइबर्स बढ़ेंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा मुझे ये वीडियोस बनाने में. So let's make it happen. And thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.